Hi, I'm Kelly Bassetti Primo, and welcome to my podcast, Learning Curves, where I bring the small business community direct to you. In my podcast, Learning Curves, we learn about all the unique services that businesses have to offer, and we also learn about the different challenges that businesses go through. In times, businesses go through several different ups and downs, and we talk about the learning curves that we all go through and how we address those. I hope you enjoy my podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of Learning Curves. It is the holiday season here at Second Soul Studios, and we're so happy to have you here. And I have a guest here who I'm excited to introduce you to. His name is Joey Izzo with Phoenix Custom Engineering, and he is a creator and makes all kinds of interesting things, which I'm going to let Joey explain to you exactly what he does.
Sure. First of all, thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, you're welcome.
First time podcast. And basically what our company does is we build custom manufacturing equipment. And for a lot of people out there that maybe that means a robot or maybe that means a custom machine. And that's exactly what it is. We take a product that a customer presents to us, and we present a machine solution that can either assemble that or process it, and we will go ahead and deliver a proposal, and when they sign off, then we begin to design it and manufacture it for the customer. And similarly, the robot cells, like the ones you see on TV, single robot arm that picks and places something or picks and assembles something. That's the kind of stuff that we do. So we also have a fabrication shop as well, a full machine shop. So a lot of our customers, we kind of cross-pollinate in some industries. So some of our customers will actually ask us to build some of their products because we have a machine shop. So we get kind of lucky that way as well. We will machine and manufacture or weld some special piece they may need as well. Right. So
you offer the helping hand for manufacturing, or for maybe it's like you had mentioned before, you use the example of a bottled water.
That's
like
right.
Laverne and Shirley, when they used to work in the bottle company, like something that they would used to do, like your hand will do that for you.
That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we'll build
analogy.
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll build a machine to put just the cap on the bottle, or we'll just build the machine to put the water and the cap on it, or we'll build a machine to do the bottle, fill, then cap, then package. Right. So it kind of comes in a lot of different configurations. So it all just depends on what they need.
Right.
That's why we say manufacturing support,
Or for like a car plant, it could be like a certain part for a car that they might help with.
Actually, I'm glad you brought that up because we just finished 3 testers, and what these machines do is they test the electronics that are going into these new electric cars. So the tester, for example. The tester that tests the battery management system for the new Corvette, the new electric Corvette, was made by us.
Oh,
right?
Or that's cool.
Or the tester that tests the battery management system for the new electric Cadillac, is also made by us. And
so does the tester do?
So the tester takes the base product, or the mold of the product, and it actually tests the casing of that piece of electronic. So because a lot of these circuitry components and stuff are inlaid inside of the plastic, so you can't see it. So, and you can use X-ray machines to see inside of it and stuff, but you can't necessarily verify if this is connected and that's connected unless you test it on a tester. And some of these machines, like these two, for example, and the one we're working on now is for the new Tesla truck. There's a servo motor on the back that drops the tailgate. We make the machine.
Is that new truck that's coming out that kind of looks like a space machine?
They don't tell me exactly, but they say it's for a tailgate motor, something.
My husband put a deposit down on one of those. I just was curious if it was the same one.
It might be, and if it has a motorized tailgate, the machine that tests those motors was built here in Clearwater. Just saying.
Oh, nice.
But the other thing, kind of give these guys a shout out, because these testers are kind of developed and designed as a joint effort with a local company that I work with, because they are the company that makes the castings. So that company makes the castings, and then they say, hey, we need this custom machine to test it. And they've been so nice. They've been great. We really like this company. And they say, hey, we have this frame. You can make the machine out of this frame that we used for this last project last year. Can you help us out? Yeah, sure. Bring it over. So we use these machines, and it's just a good joint effort. It really is, because they build a lot of stuff for GM right here in our backyard. It's amazing. Right. Yeah,
there's a lot of manufacturing going on right here in Clearwater.
Yeah, you would never think about the stuff that happens right here in the Tampa Bay area, the whole, Pinellas County and Hillsborough County, all the things that we make here. So,
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So besides the tester, what are some other interesting projects that you're working on right now?
So let's see. So there is another company locally here. I would say they're probably up and coming globally. But they are a very large, great company that builds medical tubing. Mm-hmm. And this is another company. The joint efforts are always so much fun, because this company designed their ovens, and these ovens are like 2 and 3 stories tall, and they make the tubing that goes inside your veins to like unclog arteries and to use as camera something's like, that's what they specialize in anyways, is these special medical tubing. And we had the great opportunity to develop the controls for their ovens. So they fabricated their ovens the way that they wanted, the way they saw fit, and they just trusted us to do the controls for it. So we basically made the brains of their baby, which was really cool opportunity to get, so we do a lot of stuff like that. We do joint efforts too. We don't, so that's why, so those are just fun projects, because we get to develop, we don't have the whole responsibility of building the whole machine in that case, but those are always fun, because those joint efforts, half the work is done,
Yeah.
And I just get to do the controls. Just fun. So it's just amazing to see stuff come to life, and I think that is basically why I do this, because
it's the best part of the job, right? Seeing the end product.
Yeah, that's right.
In place, working.
Exactly, because when you look back, you say, "Wow, that was like an idea a year ago that I didn't even think was possible." Like a year ago, I was just like, "That maybe will happen." I don't know, and then it happens, and you're like, wow, man, like, I really, that's amazing. That really, really happened, and it's here, and everybody can see it now. So that's always fun. So so those shock value projects, that's what I do, or I'm getting into. Now I've got this this other robot too that I'm working on, and when I say robot, it's more of a how do I say? It's like it's more of a, what would you call it? Like a production kind of entertainment kind of robot. It's not like an industrial robot. Is
it gonna dance for me?
It could, yes. It could, and maybe
dance and sing.
Yeah, and maybe I'll show you after the show or something. But
I'd like to see that.
It's basically like a lot of people kind of saw it as like Rosie the robot, kind of from the Jetsons. It's kind of what it looks like.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wonder when that was gonna. I want one of those. Does it clean?
Well, hopefully we'll get there. Maybe we'll get there one day. so that was the next one for 2023 was that project, and then I was gonna go into, then one night I was thinking, how can I think bigger? Like this isn't big enough. How can I make something really, really crazy? Because your time's so super valuable, right? If you're going to spend your time on something, this really better be jaw dropping, right?
Yeah.
So that's the hardest part, is to figure out what is the craziest thing I can do, And so I thought, man, maybe I could do something with energy, like we have this energy problem, with batteries, electric, all that stuff. It's like maybe I could do something with energy. So next year I'll be I don't know if I'm allowed to say now, but I'll be working with a project that's specifically geared towards energy. So I'll be working on the robot. The robot I'll probably be done by January, February, March or April or something. Probably be done with that project. So probably the other half of next year or the beginning of next year, 2023, probably doing this energy project. So, and that'll be fun. So, that
we need to talk about that. We need to see this robot that you have right now, and maybe tell the story of how it kind of went through its.
Yeah, absolutely. So the robot is going to be here on the 7th. It's a funny story. So the guy that built the robot, or the guy's company or something, he's the same guy that did R2-D2 for
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Really?
Yeah. So it does have like a kind of like a historical meaning, sort of, and so I decided I was gonna restore it and kind of put a new give it an electrical upgrade, and kind of do other things with it.
Which one did he work on? Was it C-3PO or R2-D2?
It's pretty sure it's R2-D2.
Oh wow!
Yeah, because the guy I bought it from. Yeah, and
does it have a British accent and everything?
I don't know. Maybe it does. I don't know. But it's pretty funny because there is a company in Britain that still uses this robot, because that company produced whatever it was, like 17 of these robots, and I had the lucky chance of getting one, and I'm so happy I got one. And there's only one, I think, verified one that actually runs still. Which is in the company in Britain that uses it as a marketing tool. They like rent it out as like a marketing tool at the shows, and they have the guy come around. It's got like a voice modulator, welcome to blah 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 Dynamics, and come to our whatever come to our booth for whatever So yeah, so that was it's pretty effective because they're still using it.
That's great. I want you to when it's done, bring him back in here. We'll do another podcast.
Yeah, we should do a podcast with the robot.
Yeah, get the robot in here. We'll put the headphones on him.
There you go. It'll be great.
I think that'll be great.
Oh yeah, we will.
So what's the robot's name?
That's a good question. I haven't thought about it yet.
You haven't named it?
No, I haven't. But I don't have it yet. So, and that was part of the story I forgot to tell you was the guy that had it is in Michigan. So how the heck am I going to get this thing, right? And I'm like, all right, what part of Michigan are you? And he told me, and I said, call my mom, because my mom lives in Michigan too. And it just so happened that my mother lives like 15 minutes away from him. And I said, Mom, can you pick up this robot? She says, what? I'm like, yeah, robot. Like, what do you think about that? She goes, yeah, I would love to see it. And so I was like, if you want to drive down here, I will also pay you as the freight person too. And it was great. It all worked out because, I got my mom to get it to come down here, and she'll also be at my first Christmas party, because we have our Christmas party this year, my first Christmas party, company Christmas party. So that was a big deal for us as well. And it was just kind of nice to have my mom too, so I'll have the whole fam there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, and we have Rosie the robot. Well, it's not Rosie, but I don't want to say rosy.
Well, we should do like a social media thing for you as like help name the robot.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I
probably get a lot of play out of that. And as
yeah.
you're working on it, we could do like little videos to see where you are with him, and then when he's all finished, we bring him in here and show the podcast. I think that would be awesome YouTube content.
Yeah, I think it'd be great too.
What a fun story to follow.
Yeah, I also sent Ennis a picture of the second version that I designed. So the second version is a version that we would actually build 100%, because I know guys that do fiberglass, and we would do all the electromechanical systems inside and all that. But the fiberglass thing is the biggest hurdle, is how to make it aesthetically kind of, I guess, pleasing and cool and different. You know.
So is this something that you would replicate and then sell to people, that they could have this? Like,
so I wish I had some cool plan like that, but
you could have one here at the studio for us. Help you set up equipment, clean.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, like I wish I had some cool plan like that, but it was another thought of that shock value thing, because we are very much still trying to define our purpose in business. You know, custom machines, they're great, you know, and it pays the bills. We've done really great throughout the years. But as far as I go, I'd rather kind of go into custom products and different how do you say, like different industries, right? Because automation doesn't need to be in manufacturing. It could be for entertainment. It could be for in-home use. It could be a lot of different things. It doesn't have to be just for manufacturing. And
no, a lot of people could use that.
Yeah, you know, and that's why I don't know if you saw our Halloween video. Did you see our Halloween video? Anyway,
I think it showed that one to me.
We were really happy with it. So you guys do great work, by the way.
Thank you.
So this was another marketing idea, right? So do you know Third Friday in Safety Harbor?
Yes,
You know,
Ennis was telling me about that.
So we buy 2 booths there, right? Like a company you would never expect to be there, we do it. So basically what I do is do exactly what people would not expect. That way it's just that much more like oomph, you know. And it actually, I'm very surprised it actually works. It does work, and a lot of the robot projects or the energy project, a lot of that stuff we will demonstrate.
People find that fascinating, because Ennis said your booth was really busy.
It was very busy, and it was fun too. And really, it's, I guess you could say it's for the marketing, but it's more so about exposing people to what could be, like exposing people to what's really out there, right? Because when you go to Third Friday, it's like vendors, it's, you know, you get your drinks, you get your stuff.
Yeah, food trucks, the same old jewelry people, you know, selling jewelry, selling clothes.
Yeah, that's
about machines.
That's right. You know, and you come up, you come up to our booth, and you get to run some machines. You get to make the robot move, you know, and you could press a button and the robot gives you candy. By the way, Ferrero Rocher candy, really good candy. And you know, I hope that it just inspires people to think of other things, and you know, and maybe in some people might think of us in those ideas, maybe. You know, you never know. I had some guy, because, you know, there's people always visiting from up north. Had some guy walking. He was like I don't know what he was. He was worked at some big manufacturer up north, and he comes up to me and he goes, "What are you doing here?" You know, I'm like, you know, I said, I'm not really sure. I'm just showing off my stuff. And he goes, "Damn, man, it's pretty brilliant." I'm like, yeah.
Oh, see, because a lot of people wouldn't even think to do that.
Because all it takes is one plant manager or one owner of a manufacturer or something, and you know, they take your cards, and you never know, they might consider you.
Well, seeing that we live in manufacturing, Clearwater is one of the manufacturing capitals of the United States. There's a lot of manufacturing done here, so you never know that the next CEO is probably walking around at these festivals. There's probably a ton of them with all the different places that are here. It's very smart.
Absolutely. So this is the point of the quote unquote shock value projects, because I'm also trying to get eyes from other industries, like I was saying, like the entertainment industry and like all these other people, to say, hey, maybe we could do something like that over here. Someone that would never consider it, right? That's kind of the idea. That's why it's like when people ask me what I do, I say, I don't really know. I mean, manufacturing support. That's all I say,
At CEA Marketing, we take your business, your passion, and your why, and we sell it. If you're unsure where to start marketing your company, CEA Marketing is here to help. Our team at CEA has tons of experience and top-notch training, which helps you take all the stress and confusion out of marketing your own business. After years of working with large companies like Pulte Homes, the Outback Bowl, and Metro Places, we guarantee the successful implementation of a marketing strategy. I think you have a very interesting backstory that I would love for you to tell us about, like how you didn't go to college, like you just liked making things, and you went all into, hey, I'm gonna read and research and learn what I can, and look at you now. So can you kind of go back and tell us a little bit of that story?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, it all started with cars. That was all I knew. And so I purchased a 1974 Chevy Nova from an impound lot, right? When I was 16, purchased it from our impound lot. I think I borrowed like $400 from my girlfriend, just to just to make it all the way. Took me like 2 months to pay my girlfriend back, that kind of thing. Anyway, so I bought this thing and drove it, fixed it up, that kind of thing. So I was so into cars, and it got to a point where I wanted more, where I wanted to do more. So what I did was I put this car up for trade on Craigslist, and I said, okay, trade cash or lathe machines or milling machines or so. So somebody took me up on the lathe, and I got the lathe. I didn't know how to work it, but I was so fascinated by it because I knew that even though I had lost my car, I had gained something that could make other things, where you could kind of make something that you could think of, So I was a little bit more intrigued by that, and so what I would do is I would go on places like eBay, older guys, mentors, that kind of thing. It's, hey, where can I get this kind of information, and so I would purchase the books, and so I'd read the books, and not only would I read the books, I would take the knowledge that I took out of the book, and I would apply it into the machine that I had in the garage. This is like a heavy machine. This is like a 2,000-pound machine in a residential garage, right? And here I am running this thing and learning, and so that's kind of that's what started the business part. And I said, wow, I could make stuff for people and do things. And that's when I said, okay, I want to build engines. That's what I want to do. So building engines takes a lot of special equipment, very custom special equipment, that kind of thing. So I didn't have the money for that. So I had to buy everybody's broken stuff, right? I had to buy everybody's broken stuff, fix it up before I could even put it into use in the shop. So for a couple of years, after I'd fixed all the equipment, I had run a successful kind of, I guess you would say, I don't know what to say, but like an engine machine shop, and then things went pretty well. Ended up specializing in the heads. And I kind of got out of that because one thing I learned for your learning curve on that part
yes.
was that I wasn't a big fan of dealing with the general public, and I don't mean to say that to offend anybody, but it was very difficult to deal with people that, for me, that nickel and dime me. I'm the kind of guy that my price is my price, you know, so.
And they like to do that in automotive quite a bit.
Especially with engine machine shops, a lot of these guys are coming in doing hobby stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so they don't really have a lot of money, so I don't blame them. You know, it's just that as a up and coming guy, it's like I'm dreaming of this big shop with all these engines. I'm machining all this stuff, and I'm like asking for $100, and this guy wants to give me 80, and I'm just like, God, how am I ever gonna get here? If every single person's gonna knock me off $20, you know?
Right.
So I said, you know what I really want to do? I want to be in interior design. Right, so I said I want to do interior design. I want to do interior design. I want to make custom furniture. I want to do custom bars. I want to do all that stuff, right? Because I would take all my skills and do creative bars and creative interior fixtures and that kind of thing. And so what I did was I couldn't believe this, but all that equipment that from the engine machine shop fit on 3 pallets, and I shipped it to Russia to some guy. Bought all my stuff, and it shipped to Russia. All of it. So some guy in Russia has extremely rare. If anybody's listening to this that needs like old engine equipment to be done, this guy in Russia has all the equipment to do it. I had equipment that was so old, the engine machine shops would sell it to me for nothing, right? So I had engine equipment that could work on engines from like the early 1900s and stuff.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? So I had really rare stuff, but at that time everybody thought it was crap because no one would run that stuff. It was a very small community that was like with the Model Ts and
you have the people that collect those kind of cars that probably need somebody with those tools, engines to work on them.
Yeah, well, they're in Russia, so hopefully there's someone local that has that stuff too. But anyway, so I sold all that stuff, and then that's when that is when I got my first interior design job, and I was so excited. It was a custom wine rack, and I was very, very excited to do this because I was part of the design. I did the design and I manufactured it, and it was really good. And to this day, it's still there. But anyways, that is how I made my initial investment. That large sum from there is how I made my initial investment in the company. And so I bought another machine, took half that investment, bought another machine, and then that just opened more doors to doing more things. And unfortunately, the interior design stuff I didn't really get to do as much as I wanted to. But having these machine capabilities kind of opened other doors that I didn't think would open, which also satisfied my creative need. Mm-hmm. So even though it was a fixture for something or it was a piece, it was still something fun that I got to design and that I got to build for somebody. And I felt very happy to do that. And
that's great.
And yeah, and I mean to this day I'd still love to do more interior design stuff, but that part of history where I transitioned from the machine shop to an engine machine shop to more of a custom engineering house. Mm-hmm. That was that specific time when that wine rack happened, because with that job I was able to purchase more machinery, more equipment, and get into different things. And at that time I was working for a manufacturer as well. And this is when I got into the machines, right? Because I was so like absorbed by these machines, and the company I was working for was actually selling me, well, not selling me, but they were actually requesting quotes for other machines. So I was building machines for the company I was working for.
So you would do that on the side?
Yeah. So the guys were really, really cool about it because a lot of companies wouldn't let you do that.
Yeah,
You
but
know
it's
what I'm
kind of
saying?
neat. You're in a manufacturing company where you're learning because you're around machines all the time.
That's right.
And it's smart too, because some of us in business, when you go right into business right away and try to operate a company, it's always good to go to work for a company for a little while just to see,
That's right.
because you can learn a lot when you're there and take all that. And look what you ended up doing.
Yeah, that's right. I would just say that when people want to kind of dabble in something that they feel they may go into business, I would dabble in a business that's similar to yours, not exactly, if you know what I mean. But the great thing about the opportunity I got was the owners were very good to me, and they were happy to give me the work. They were happy to give me the work. They knew my equipment would work, and because I saw a bunch of equipment out there that did work. So I got to apply a lot of stuff that I knew and that I saw, and I got to make equipment sometimes even better because I knew I was also into technology and what's up and coming, right? Because I was taking old designs that were in the factory, and I was making these new designs that do the same thing, but maybe a little faster or maybe a little better, that kind of thing. So
Learning from something old to create something new.
that's right. That's right.
like
I have something to say about old stuff. One, especially coming up and learning what you want to learn. I found that people may jump the gun on education a little bit. I think to really, really understand what you're doing, the foundation of education is most important. I guess what I'm trying to say is you want to learn the very, very basics first. Some people kind of jump over that because they think it's easy. And yeah, it might be easy, but you must learn the foundation, because if you learn the foundation of any subject, you can manipulate that foundation into anything that you want. You know what I mean? Because they always say, oh, there's this advanced course, or there's this like extra advanced course or something. It's like, well, if you have the foundation and you have the creativity, you're gonna be the person that really makes the new things. You just need to understand the foundation of whatever it is that you want to do, and then you have to have the creativity. If you don't have the creativity, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to do anything new. And so
it makes a lot of sense.
And so
I think that's great advice, because you really need to. Some people want to skip by that, but you're skipping by the most important piece of it.
That's right. And the other thing is perspective too. It's like the biggest problem I have is how can I think large enough? Like, what do I have to do to think larger than I'm thinking right now? You know what I mean? Because if you can think it, you can make it happen. And that's like we were saying before, was it's amazing. You have this idea, and oh my God, it happens in a year or whatever. It's possible. You just really have to think about it, and then say, is that big enough? You know what I mean? I don't know if that's big enough, but we'll try, and that's another thing with problems that I learned too was, and this is just me, of course, but whenever there's a problem, I I'll use this water bottle as a problem right now. The most important part is not to use nomenclature. You never, ever, ever, ever put a title on it. Right? Because if there's a real problem, you say, well, this is what it's doing, and it kind of looks like it's doing that. You never, ever put a title on it, because the problem with the title is that when you hear a title going through your ears and into your brain, what it's doing is it's compartmentalizing ideas that end up giving you these boundaries of what it could only be, right? And that's not how problems are solved, right? Because because
I like that.
Problems are new issues that we don't really understand. So in order to solve the problem, you have to you can't put a name on it, right? It's like for example, if you say, well, it's stopping. It's like, okay, well, if it's stopping, then why is that? And is it actually stopping, right? So you have to like question everything, because that's really what we do is it's like we're professional problem solvers, because these big companies ask us to do these things, and they're asking us to do it because it doesn't make sense for them to pay people to figure it out, and they think that by outsourcing it, it's better to just have someone else figure it out, a smaller company like us that maybe it's more effective or whatever.
Yeah.
Or maybe they want to do a joint effort, right? Those are the fun ones. So so that was one of the most important things, because every day it's solving a problem. So it's like, don't ever call it anything, right? Just take it for what it is and just try to understand what it is. Do everything you can not to say a word, right? You know what I mean? Do everything you can not to say what the thing is, what it looks like, or what it is doing, you know, because the second you say something, you are sticking yourself in this like box that you can't get out of, you know. So
that's great advice.
Yeah. So and that's kind of big one I learned in the past couple of years, you know.
Yeah, because there's probably a lot of other different solutions outside of that, and you tend to get stuck if you do that.
Yeah, that's right, and that
could be something that you're not even thinking about that's outside of that box, but
yeah, that's right. Yeah, and
it has to be this.
Exactly, and it all kind of.
No, it's not something completely different that you couldn't think of otherwise.
Right, and that's why I say that part of the larger problem is like, how can we think large enough? Are we understanding everybody's perspective? Are we too biased on this subject? Are we not enough? You know, is there not enough here? Is there, you know, are we really considering everything? You know, that's really the big thing, and not just problems. I guess everything, you know, is really just considering everything, trying to, anyways. Can we think big enough? You know, is that a good enough idea? I don't know. Is that shocking enough? You know, stuff like that. So anyways, yeah. So, you know, as we kind of built the business, you know, I was that going into business, and this manufacturer that was nice enough to you know, give me work while I was working there. Eventually, I walked away from it. A long story short, I sat with the owner and I expressed some of the things that I kind of wanted in my life, you know. And he was so nice. He basically said, when we were sitting down, he said, "Look, Joey, like I just don't think I want to be that big. Like I don't think I want that for here, you know." And I said, okay, you know, like, you know, I mean, I might have to, you know, walk away. You know, it was hard because he was such a, you know, I feel like we were like family, you know. It was hard, you know, but ultimately I knew that I wanted something bigger in life, and
he probably wanted that for you too.
Exactly, and so I have like newsletters and stuff, and I send him newsletters about our business.
He's probably so proud of you.
I would hope so. Yeah,
I see some of my employees out there, and they're doing amazing things, and I'm just like, wow, look at them. You know, they started here with me, learning all these things, and you know, flew out of the nest, and now look at them. So it's really cool to see that.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm always grateful for that part of my history, because that was that was a really important day that I decided to kind of go my own way, you know, and by going my own way, I learned a lot of things, and especially this one contract I had. Oh my God, I had this one contract so bad. Oh my gosh. Well, you know, as you know, I was starting out, you know, so I would take these really bad deals, and I still do. I still take all the work that people.
You know
don't
what
want.
you learn from the bad deals. Not to take a bad deal like that again.
That's right. That's right.
Sometimes I'm still learning that lesson, but I'm like, why'd I do that? Like I told myself I was never going to take anything like that again.
Yeah, right. I know. And I took
always
this.
Works up to the deal that you want to take.
Yeah, right. And this I worked for this company. I worked as this company as like a contractor, and nice guy. Nice guy. And we did this contract thing. So I basically worked there, but he was paying every month or whatever for my time, and I was doing other projects on the side. Mm-hmm. Pretty much the same, just different industry. And he made all these promises for automation and all this stuff. And long story short, none of this stuff ended up ever going through, so that kind of upset me, you know, because I was very his company was a small company. It had been in business since 1978, so I really believed in it. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool, man. He had like so many processes that could be automated, and he just wouldn't. You know, I don't know if maybe he was just an older guy and just didn't see the value.
Yeah, sometimes they just get stuck in their ways, and it's hard for them to come out of that.
And he was just another guy.
See that a lot.
Yeah, and he was just another guy like the last guy that just said, hey, you know, I if we do all that, we'll get more busy, and you know, I think I'm just kind of happy doing this.
Yes.
You know, and I'm like, what is wrong with these people? These people have a business that's already established, and going bigger would be like nothing for these people because they have the finance, they have this huge network, you know, they have all these employees, and they don't want to get bigger. It's like I don't understand, man. What's the deal?
Yeah, it depends for some companies though too, depending on what phase they are in scaling.
Yeah.
With scaling could be, you know, there's risk in that. And
yeah,
if you're doing good where you are, you know, to go up to that next level, it's going to take more money. Could be, I don't know. Some people just get comfortable where they're at.
Yeah.
It's hard for them.
And
there's a lot of risk with growing depending on how big that is. Not that there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, people do it all the time, but sometimes if you're a business owner, you know what you're getting into to go up to that next level.
Yeah, and it's funny that you have
to make a lot of changes, I guess, you know, because more employees,
that's right.
A completely different process than you were working before.
Yes.
And a lot of major changes, and you have to, in your mind, know that that's going to happen. That's going to have to happen in order for me to go there. And you have to make a commitment to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I found that out the hard way.
Yeah.
I found that out the hard way, as you can see. And because what I didn't notice was that, I know it sounds silly, but I didn't notice that I was kind of, not going to say the only person that thought the way I did, but I used to think that my perspective was this shared perspective, which is very wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I felt that I naturally wanted the best for every company. I felt that, and maybe I did, but but for them, they didn't really want what I thought was the best. They just wanted to stay in their little place in life where it's comfortable.
Yeah, well, there you go. Like you learn that, and because of that, now I really want to focus on what I want to do and what my vision is.
Right.
Because your vision doesn't match up with everyone's, and that's why I think a lot of people go off on their own because they find these things out.
Yeah, right.
It's like one disappointment after another but it could be a different way.
That's right. And the other thing too that I slowly found out about myself is, especially in this particular contract, I found out I'm an all or nothing person. It's all or nothing. Like that is literally how I go with life. It's the best or nothing. It's all or nothing. And I don't know why I'm wired that way, because I constantly think to myself, like, oh man, why can't I just be not, do you know what I mean? Like, why do I have to be so top tier with the top tier with thinking, I'm not saying I am, but why do I always got to chase after that? It's always this like chase, but it all kind of comes back to like what we were saying about the excitement of seeing something come alive, come out of your head. That's really the chase. And I guess that's kind of why I am all or nothing, I guess. It's because that's what happened. Was I ended up being so miserable in the contract. I'm like, okay, I'm just, you know what? If I fail, I fail. If I've been working this hard and I fail, it's meant to be. It's just meant to be. And I still live that way. I still say, you know what? If it fails, it's just meant to fail, and it's a learning experience.
Failure is part of it.
Yeah,
you're never going to grow without failing.
That's right. So if you fail, it's not really a bad thing. Actually, it's actually very interesting, because it's like, oh, it's actually better that I failed now than later.
Yeah,
you end up saying that a lot too.
It is. I think that's people's biggest fear about going into business for themselves, is the fact that they fear they're going to fail. But what they don't realize is failing is all part of the process.
That's right. And I put this, part of the perspective that I kind of give for maybe some college kids is, I say, if you want to go into business, just go into business and just have a good time. If you fail, and you lose $6,000, okay, you lost $6,000. How many classes, how many people could have taught you that lesson? Nothing. No, there's nothing that could teach you some of this stuff out here, man. I mean,
you got to get in there and do it. That's where you learn everything.
Right, because in the business world, I feel like every single week I get shocked by something. There is always some customer or somebody with some crazy, you know what I mean, with some insane like way of doing, not saying that they're wrong or anything, but some people do things in a very interesting way.
Yeah, they sure do.
Let's say it that way.
Well, I've been in business for over 25 years, and I still get shocked.
Yeah, right? I mean,
yeah,
it's like,
different.
What you thinking over there? We'll just say it like that. I say that a lot. What? I don't understand that, Okay. Not that I have to understand anything.
There's all kinds of different people out there, so...
Yeah.
They're like, okay. Sometimes you need to know when it's okay to walk away, too.
Yeah.
I don't think we're connecting too well on this, so...
Yeah,
maybe we just need to part ways.
Yeah, right.
Because sometimes it's going to happen that way, and that's okay to do that, because the person will probably respect you a little bit more instead of trying to fight all the way through something that's just not going to work because you're not thinking the same way and there's no connection.
Yeah.
And that person's never going to be happy.
That's right.
Usually if you have that, they're never going to be happy. They're always going to be that person that complains about something, and then you're just sitting there miserable the whole time working for them on this project.
I didn't have a lot of customers. I didn't have anybody. I was just by myself, but I was so miserable in my life that I was like, I was ready to just live under a bridge. I'm like, okay, I think living under a bridge is better than this situation, so I'm going to depart. Unfortunately, it got that bad. I mean, it probably wasn't that bad, right? But like in my perspective, I'm thinking, man, I'm so miserable in my life. I need to change it. But, and the only way that you can change your life is you just have to make those big risks and just make the leap. And
you do. And when you do that, it's surprising, like what's waiting for you on the other side of that leap.
That's right. It's amazing. It's
all these new doors open up. new opportunities.
That's
and
right.
More than likely, they're going to be way better than what you had before.
That's right. Yeah, and that's what's so fun about making the leap. It's like, hey, let's just see what happens. You know what I mean? It's like it's a very exciting thing, and I made that leap, and I got my first federal contract, and that was great. You know, that was really great. And then I got all these other customers, and at the time I had a warehouse in Safety Harbor, and so throughout the years the business started doing pretty well. I mean, I was a one-man band, but that was okay for some companies. You know, that was all right. I was just doing controls. I was doing some machining stuff here and there, some fab stuff. I eventually got to do a interior design for the owner of the first company I was working for. They hired me to do like a full stainless bar, which was very exciting. And you know, and then that was it. Because once they had a bar, they didn't really need anything else, I guess. But it ended up being really nice. So I went after they finished. We kind of looked at it. It looked great. But to make a long story short, we started doing really well, and that's when I bought that building in Clearwater. I closed on that December of 2019, and built out and did all kinds of modifications, lighting, and 3-phase power and all that stuff for all my machines, and we did really good. And then 2020 I bought my first 2 brand new machines, CNC machines, and on and on, it just...
That's awesome. Look where you are now.
All these, So, and so that's why, like, I'm in this fun, comfortable place where I can say, okay, shock value stuff, products, where is this industry taking me? Mm-hmm. Because the problem with custom machinery is you end up spending a lot of time that you're not actually compensated for, mm-hmm. But that's just part of the business.
Yeah.
It just is. So if you can actually manufacture a real product that really sells, that's the ticket right there.
That is. That's where I see you heading towards.
That's where I'm going.
Well, I think we're coming up on time.
Sure.
So I just wanted to thank you again for being here, and I'd love to bring you back.
Yeah, that would be great.
In a couple months. Yeah. I want to see that robot.
Yeah, I'm happy to come and talk about whatever, I'm happy to do that. We got lots of cool stuff to talk about, probably.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
Can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we want to show on this podcast, we're in the show notes, we'll have some links to some of your videos where we can show some of the products that you've been making, and if to follow you, do you have an Instagram page that we can link to?
Yeah, I got Instagram.
A website, we'll put all that in the show notes so people can know where to find you and know how to learn more. Yeah,
sure. That sounds great. I really appreciate it. I think that's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Really? Okay.
And thanks for tuning in to Learning Curves. We'll see you next time.
Second Soul Studios is a full-service production studio with capabilities for photo, video, podcasting, editing, co-working, and more. Our photo video studio has a number of different backdrop choices and props to choose from. We also have a gourmet kitchen set, or if you're an upstart podcaster, you'll love our 4-person podcast studio. So what are you waiting for? Visit secondsoulstudios.com to book a tour today.